somewhere over the Persian Gulf tonight, a C-17 transport jet carrying 200 American paratroopers just crossed into restricted airspace. On the ground below, a HIMARS rocket launcher is already rolling into its firing position. And across the region, Iranian commanders are watching their radar screens go dark, because in the last 72 hours, the United States military quietly activated a deployment machine that most people don't even know exists. For 4 decades, Iran built what it called an axis of resistance: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen, proxy militias stretched across Iraq and Syria. The strategy was never to fight America directly. It was to bleed it slowly, through surrogates, through 1,000 small cuts. And for a long time, it worked. But here's what changed. Iran's conventional military was never the powerhouse their propaganda suggested. Their fighter jets were aging American aircraft from before the 1979 Revolution planes that haven't had Western spare parts in 45 years. Their Navy operated in a body of water so narrow that a single American carrier strike group can dominate the entire space. Their air defenses had serious gaps that had already been exposed in real conflict scenarios. So when strikes began targeting Iranian military infrastructure, command bunkers, missile depots, naval assets, the degradation was faster than most analysts publicly predicted. Iran had built an image. America just stress tested it. But the real response didn't start with missiles. It started with a phone call at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, at 3 inches the morning. Inside a barracks building on the largest military installation in the United States, soldiers from the 82nd Airborne Division were already awake. They weren't surprised by the call. They're never surprised, because being ready for that call at any hour, on any night, is literally their entire job. The 82nd Airborne jumped into Normandy on D-Day. It deployed to Panama in 1989 with almost no warning. It scrambled to the Gulf in 1990 within days of Saddam Hussein invading Kuwait. But the unit activated tonight belongs to something even more specialized, the Division Ready Brigade, operating under a mission clock most people have never heard of. Deploy anywhere on Earth within 18 hours of notification. Not days, not weeks, 18 hours. That means from the moment the order comes down, 3,000 soldiers have to pack their gear, clean their weapons, draw their ammunition, load their equipment onto aircraft, and be wheels up before most people finish their morning coffee. Inside the barracks, the routine is pure muscle memory. Soldiers pull rucksacks from under their bunks, stuff them with clothing, rations, and personal first aid kits. Then the rifles. Every soldier breaks down their M4 carbine, pulls the bolt carrier group, wipes the carbon buildup from the firing pin, oils the moving parts, reassembles, and function checks. A weapon that fails in the field is a weapon that gets you killed, and in the 82nd, that lesson is drilled until it becomes reflex. Out on the flight line, the situation is even more intense. Multiple C-17 Globemaster aircraft are lined up on the tarmac with their rear ramps down, engines being prepared for a 4-hour flight across the world. Loadmasters direct forklifts hauling pallets of equipment up the ramps. HIMARS rocket launcher vehicles roll aboard under their own power and are chained to the cargo deck with tie-down cables rated for thousands of pounds of force. In the cockpits, pilots run pre-flight checks that take over an hour navigation, radar, weight, and balance calculations. Then the order reaches the hangar. 3 words that end all preparation. Time to move. The soldiers pick up their bags, sling their rifles, and file out onto the airfield. 14 hours later, the first C-17 touches down at a military airfield in Qatar. The ramp drops before the aircraft even fully stops moving. And what happens next is the detail most coverage missed completely. The HIMARS vehicles don't park. They don't wait for further orders. They drive directly off the ramp, onto the tarmac, and straight to pre-assigned firing positions near the border positions that had already been calculated, preloaded with target packages, and cleared through the chain of command before the aircraft ever left North Carolina. The HIMARS fires GPS-guided rockets with a range of up to 70 kilometers. In its extended configuration, that range stretches to nearly 300 kilometers. It can hit a target the size of a car from 40 miles away. Positioning these at the border wasn't logistics. It was a message, delivered without a single word. Offshore, the USS Abraham Lincoln, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier carrying 75 aircraft and an escort group loaded with Tomahawk cruise missiles, was already operating in the region. From its flight deck, Marine MH-60 Nighthawk helicopters and V-22 Osprey tiltrotors began lifting off, carrying Marines in full combat gear toward the Qatari coast. Meanwhile, transport ships began launching assault amphibious vehicles into the water-sealed armored machines that cross open ocean on water jets and then drive straight up onto the beach on tracks, carrying 21 Marines and their equipment through what military planners call the most dangerous 3 miles in warfare. Behind them came the LCACs, massive military hovercraft riding on cushions of air, traveling at over 40 knots, each carrying 60 tons of cargo. Armored vehicles, trucks, palletized ammunition delivered directly from ship to shore in minutes, ramp dropping, vehicles driving off, the craft already turning around for the next load. Above all of it, helicopters flew continuous patrol patterns with door gunners scanning the sky for Iranian Shahed drones, one helicopter refueling and rearming while another took its place, the perimeter covered at all times. And now here is the strategic picture as it stands. The United States has moved thousands of troops, armored vehicles, rocket artillery, and naval assets into position around Iran's perimeter faster than most governments had time to react diplomatically. Iran's military has been severely degraded. Its proxy network has taken losses that will take years to rebuild, but military pressure at this scale doesn't exist in a vacuum. Every soldier on that beach, every pilot on that carrier, every paratrooper who loaded onto a C-17 at 3 inches the morning, they are part of a negotiating argument. A very loud, very expensive argument made of steel and aviation fuel. History tells us that when America deploys at this scale, one of two things follows. Either the pressure forces a political resolution, or the situation escalates into something far larger. What happens next depends on decisions being made right now in rooms we will never see by people whose names most of us will never know. But the machine is running. And machines like this, once started, are very hard to stop.